Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to It's Something to Do with Pete and Will. We promise it's something to do. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to It's Something to Do with Pete and Will. We promise it's something to do. How's it going?
I was explaining to you before we got on that we put Ava back in school for the first time in a year and a half. So when she started going to daycare on our old lot at like 3 months old, 3.5 months old, something like that, extremely young. And then she went until she was almost a year and a half, until we all went home for lockdown and then never ever went back to work. And so now that she's been home for a year, we've gotten to start preschool. She's over 3. Like, let's go do it. And the first 3 days of this were like, oh my God, it's hard. I mean, it was like heartbreaking. She's just like so sad. She's not, I would say she doesn't throw like screaming meltdowns. Like, we have friends whose kids like melt down and cry and throw themselves on the floor. She doesn't do that. She just gets like really weepy and
hurts,
sad, and
that actually hurts more.
And it hurts. Yes, exactly. If she was like screaming, you'd be like, "Listen, you little shit, get the fuck in there." But because she's just like, "Okay, I'll go. And I love you. I'll see you later." You're like, "Oh my God."
There's a unique pain to the fact that she's knowing how to internalize this pain, and you're watching her go through the pain. But not externalize it, and that hurts more.
Yeah, you're just like, just imagining like a despondent 3-year-old standing alone at daycare. You're like, no, this is heartbreaking. This is heartbreaking. I want to go give you a hug, but I can't. I'm not even fucking allowed in there. Yeah, you can't. You're like, you can't go in. They've like changed all their protocols because of COVID, right? So you just drop them at the gate. A teacher who she doesn't know comes and takes her by the hand and leads her off into her little room. And
she just looks back, and you can see in her eyes, Dad.
Yes,
why?
She's wearing the mask. She's got, so even when you're like, okay, give me a hug, and she goes, and she doesn't like give a real hug. She's just like leans her head into you. And like, that's how you know that like she's so freaked out. She can't even manage a hug. She just wants to like for this to be over.
Are you leaving me here?
Exactly. That's exactly it.
Somewhere. I want to be at home with you.
Why can't we hang out? Why can't we hang out? We've been hanging out for a year and a half. Why can't we do anything? And so going into daycare, I was like,
however, it's mandatory that this happens.
Sure. Yes. Yeah. This has to happen. Right? This has to happen. We did have a broader end, literally day 1, day 2, fucking another classroom. Kids been exposed to COVID. You're like, for fuck's sake.
It's day 1.
Yeah, literally. It was like, we all just started this one day.
Can't you just spray him with Windex? What's wrong with you? Just get sprayed with the Windex.
What the fuck? And so, kid tested negative, so it's all good. But and they keep all the classrooms separate, yada yada. But going into it last week, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna get so much extra time back to myself. And then I realized I have a baby and I don't really actually get any time to myself at all. In fact, it's actually more frantic because you're like trying to get her together to get in the car, to get out of the door, to go to school. And then like 3 hours later, I'm going back there to pick her back up again. So it's like, drop whatever I'm doing and then go back and go get her and then come back and put her down for nap time. I mean, we are
8 hours.
She will be there at some point from 9:30 until 4:30 or 5 or whatever, whatever it's going to be later in the day. But in this first week where we were kind of like, okay, well, we're going to walk it in and let's see how we do. The first day we were like, we'll pick you up after lunch. And then maybe later in the week, Wednesday, you'll nap there. Monday, we didn't even make it to lunchtime. It was like, she was just so like, the teachers were like, do you want us to ask her if she wants to go home? And we were like, okay. And then, before even lunchtime, we went over there. We was there for like 2.5 hours. And then we went and got her. And then the next day she stayed for lunch.
She was like
$50. But she was like, oh my God, I wish it was $150.
No, a day.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I wish it was $150. This is like a fucking second mortgage.
Yeah. Well, I'm in the same thing. I've got 2 kids in camp. One of them's in a gymnastics camp, and she's there right now. And just wear them out, please, so that they go to sleep.
Yes, I will say. But it's like we get her in the car. And we're like, "Did you eat your snack?" We pop open her lunch, and she hasn't touched anything. She's like, I was too sad to eat. And it's like, oh, come on, man. No, don't say that. Are you kidding me?
Dad has a lot of emotion about you.
Don't say that. Too sad to eat? You're too sad to eat a little fruit salad?
We love you people. And so it's very important to us that you have the nutrients necessary during the day. Why is your water bottle still full?
Yeah, that was exactly
like,
did you pee?
Have you been water?
Have you been holding it since midnight last night? Don't you have to go to the bathroom?
We send you with water so you can nourish yourself as you run around with other children.
Exactly.
Make sure that happens.
Yeah. I'm like we're giving you all. McKenna's like cutting up her food into fun shapes and like, here's your favorite foods, and didn't even fucking touch it because she's too sad to eat. You're like, oh God.
You're like, hey, can you do that for me, by the way? Because I like a peanut butter jelly sandwich with a heart.
I would really like it with a star shape.
Yeah.
Please. I would like all my food in star shape.
Kind of a big deal. We'll give everything else to the dog.
So and then that has sort of coincided with, everybody was like, oh, the terrible twos. She turned 2 and nothing. And she like never didn't really freak out ever. Obviously like once in a, like a, what's the phrase? Blue moon. But for the most part, not really. Now that she's 3 and she's going to school and she's got a little brother, it's like we were at dinner the other night and I made like a sweet Italian sausage and put it on a bun. And she was like, I want ketchup on mine. I was like, okay,
fantastic.
Yeah, it was good. So I put ketchup on it, a stripe of ketchup on. She's like, I want more. No, it rolled out of the bun and it went on the hot dog, or the sausage went onto the plate and the ketchup smeared onto the plate. I was like, that's fine. There's still plenty of ketchup on. She's like, no, I want ketchup.
I want back fresh
on
ketchup
on the sausage.
You put fresh ketchup on it? I'm throwing this at the wall.
It went on one side, and then she's like, I need it on the other side. And then I put it on the other side. She's like, I need it in the middle. I was like, how about if I just at this point, this is a lot of ketchup. We're adding a lot of ketchup to this sausage. So I'm like rubbing it into the middle. She's like, no, that's not good enough. I want a straight. So I cover the fucking thing in sausage and I cover the sausage in ketchup. And then she's like, there's too much ketchup on this. How am I supposed to eat this? I don't want any ketchup. And I was like, do you want mine? Mine doesn't have any ketchup. Yeah. She's like, give me yours. It takes
That's the difference between Bridget and I's parenting. I'm like, this is what you're having. This is what you're eating. Where Bridget's like, well, here's 15 options. I'm like, not 15 options. This is what I made. It's healthy and it's going in your body.
And to be honest, yours is the right way to do it, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, because this is what I made. Otherwise, then they're,
And this comes from our pediatricians told us the exact same thing when we first started. He was like, if you make them food and they don't eat it, they have to learn the consequences of not eating the food that's presented to them. Right. And so they need to feel the hunger. And if you say like, here's this delicious meal that I've made you, and they say, I don't like that, make me something else, and you go do that and make them something else, then they always know that like the first option, that's not the real food. The real food is somewhere else. And all I need to do is complain hard enough for you to go get it and bring it back. The ketchup thing was like, it's the same food. She was just like, I want more ketchup. I was like, okay. I thought there was going to come a point where I could apply enough ketchup to this sausage where she'd be like, that's adequate. Okay. But instead, it was just like a totally irrational, and then deciding, this is too much ketchup.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to even do this?
Right.
I want one without ketchup. It was like, okay. It was like day one of fucking school. So it was like, she's already a mess. She already hasn't slept. She already hasn't fucking eaten anything.
Sweet and
Exactly.
acquiesce
So it was,
her-
there are definitely other days where she has not eaten something. And in the shower later that night, she's like, my tummy hurts. I'm like, do you have to poop? She's like, I don't have to poop. I'm like, are you hungry? Do you wish you had food? She was like, yeah. I'm like, well, then you should have eaten your fucking dinner.
And that's
Remember this. I'm like, remember this feeling. Remember this feeling next time I give you food and you don't eat it. And she's like, I don't understand. I'm
She's
2.5.
Dad, why are you yelling at me about
I don't get it.
applesauce?
I don't get it.
It's
Yeah.
applesauce.
So that's what's been going on. It's just the total irrational. We've hit the point in childhood where she just has the totally irrational freakouts over stuff, and you're like, I can't do anything about this. I can't do anything about this except I just have to let it happen and try not to give it too much power, and then move on with it. Because I think that's the secret too. Is the more you try to fix it, the worse it gets, and then the next one is sort of like is big and bad.
My thing is this is what is for dinner, and this is what we're having, because I cook a lot.
Yeah.
So that's that, and you're going to eat it.
Yeah.
Because all they want is ice cream.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Until you eat dinner, you can't.
I know. Apparently, there's this like line of thought around getting kids to eat or turning kids into healthy eaters, where it's like you present them with dinner, and if you're a family that has dessert as well at the same time, and let them decide what they're going to eat. And anytime anybody tells me about this, I'm like, this sounds fucking crazy. Because if it's like, you got
it's us, we're going to
some
eat
chicken,
ice cream.
some chicken, some broccoli, some rice, and 3 Oreos.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, of course you're gonna eat the fucking 3 Oreos first.
Well,
of course
those are those little Lunchables that come with it has like little hams, and not that these are healthy necessarily, but if Lunchables wants to be a sponsor,
Oscar Mayer,
but it's the same thing. Is they've got these essentially M&Ms inside of it, and then you can make yourself a little cracker with ham and cheese on it.
Yeah,
the M&Ms are gone right out of the gate.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything.
And then by the time you get to like the vegetable, it's like, I'm too full.
Yeah,
I'm too full to eat this broccoli. It's like,
I don't have time for this.
You should have eaten the fucking broccoli first,
Yeah.
and then the Oreo later. What the fuck? Whose brilliant idea was this? I'm sure there's some like research or whatever that's like, here's how you make a kid a happy eater. But like, fuck that. That sounds like bullshit to me. I don't know.
I agree.
That's what's going on over here.
Non sequitur Tuesday, or transition, however we want to say it.
Even though I've already talked about this did I talk about this being the 4th day of school where she did well? This is Thursday, right? Monday, she didn't do great.
It's
Tuesday, she didn't do great. Wednesday, she did worse.
Come
Thursday,
on.
today, she at least didn't cry and ate her lunch.
It's Tuesday. In my hair, I don't know what's going on here. What's going on here? Well, anybody give a shit? What's up?
No.
I almost want to make it crazier. So I officially signed up for the space flight.
Which one? Virgin?
Yeah, with Virgin.
Oh my gosh. So when do you go?
Well, no, you sign up for a lottery, and so you donate to.
I thought you like bought a ticket, and then it's like, all right, 3 years from now, you're fucking going into space.
Yeah,
or whatever.
$500,000 on a ticket,
dude. I don't know. You're giving random people on the internet fucking money. You don't know these people. I don't know what you're fucking doing. You might be going through a manic episode where you're just like throwing money at people. And then you're like, I'm gonna give Richard Branson $500,000. And Bridget's like, wait, you did what?
I
Get it back. We don't have that much money.
I have no emotional issues in any way, shape, or form. The things that I do for people is because I want to help people.
You want to help Richard Branson? Apparently,
he donates the money that you give to him to something else, and then you're in a pool
to a charity called hispocket.llc.
Yeah, and so
so you sign up and you enter a lottery, and then when do you find out if you go?
I guess they just email you.
Oh,
and then I get on it.
All right, great.
I don't even know where it takes off from. I didn't do a lot of research.
Well, I would imagine there's more than enough time to figure it out when they pick you out of. They're not going to be like, all right, it's Thursday. Your day is Saturday. Yeah. We'll see you at 9 a.m.
Where do I have to be?
Yeah.
They're like, Brazil. You're like, holy shit.
I can physically get there on time. Well, that's exciting. I guess. I don't know. So you just signed up for you're leading with this, but you just put your name on a mailing list.
Well, no. Well, I mean, you can look at it however you want, but I donated to put my name in the lottery to get on the flight.
Okay. Is there a chance that you donate money and then don't wind up on the flight?
Yeah, of course.
No, all right.
Yeah, because
she's giving away more money.
Yeah.
Maybe you get something out of it. Maybe you don't. I don't know.
I assume it's going somewhere.
Cool.
Nice.
Well, I don't know. Good for you.
Yeah. And I tell you this, but I don't want anybody else to sign up for it. The tens of people that watch this.
You do know people have a thing called fucking Google, though, right?
Oh shit!
Oh,
I forgot.
It's not secret how to do this.
Oh, bitch!
What?
Did you see a 13-year-old was duct taped to a seat?
No, I didn't see that.
They keep duct taping people to their seats, and I know that this has been a theme in the last probably 3 episodes, but. Some 13-year-old was just being a complete douche, and they duct taped him to his seat, and he's just yelling.
Kid.
So they don't have tasers; they've got duct tape. Apparently,
yeah. Well, I don't know. You should tase a 13-year-old.
They're wearing it on their belts now because how many times have you ever heard of that?
Like, you gave me the beef. I asked for the chicken. She's like, shh. What was that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like, wait a minute.
Listen, 3C. We don't take shit from you people like you anymore. Eat that fucking chicken.
Am I getting duct taped? No, I wasn't that upset. It's just
we're just doing it preemptively now. We're just doing it preemptively. We know that on a flight full of 200 people, 150 you are absolute assholes. So we're duct taping everybody, and then you can earn a bathroom privilege.
I'm not that upset. I just wanted to change my mail.
Wow, a 13-year-old. Holy shit. How big of a dick does that 13-year-old have to be to get duct taped to a seat?
I saw the video. He's kind of a jerk.
Really? What was he doing? Was he like slapping people?
No, just mouthing off and threatening. Who's threatening to do things. The second you threaten on a plane, that's that.
Yeah, well, especially now.
Yeah.
Now,
well, even before, if you did or said things, you're gonna.
That's true. At least an air marshal isn't shooting you in the leg.
Yeah.
I guess that would have been like the September 14th, 2001. You freak out on a fucking plane, you're getting shot.
Well, my sister-in-law, her grandfather was a air marshal for 40 years.
Uh-huh.
And so he described to me that they literally just fly all over the world.
Yeah.
So he would just get on a flight and nobody had any idea he was there. And if anybody got out of line, then he was there.
What are the rules? Like, you're not allowed to like fall asleep. You can't get too into the in-flight movie.
Well, no, I mean, no, you can. I mean, you're on the flight, so when there's a ruckus. And if it becomes more of a ruckus, then
like
you get
horrible
involved.
Ruckus. Shit went down.
Yeah.
Air Marshal.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
Nick, what happened? Oh, well, I slept through it.
Well,
I don't know if you know
let's-
this, but I've been on planes for the last 13 hours
Yeah.
and I was exhausted.
I was coming from back.
They
from
put on
Australia,
the lake house and I fucking fell asleep.
the lake house. So stupid.
I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah. I was watching Tommy
And I
Boy.
missed the whole thing. I'm so sorry. It won't
Those-
happen again. I swear. Unless you give me the beef bourguignon and the lake house, and then I'm gonna fucking fall asleep again. It's just it's a 1-2 punch for me going to bed.
Anything with Chris Farley in it, I'm watching. I can't help it. I'm gonna pay attention. I love him.
Yeah, I don't know. I have noise canceling headphones. They're amazing.
He's,
I didn't even hear anything.
he's fun. But people were tapping you. You're on video.
They were shouting, "Is there an air marshal?"
You're an air marshal.
The
And-
flight attendant
Yeah,
was shoving you.
because she's
Here's
the
the
only
air
one that
marshal.
knows that you're the air marshal.
Man, I mean, I will say, people are like kind of chalking this shit up to like post pandemic. And I will say, yeah, it's obviously seems to have gotten worse since people have gotten back out into the world. But prior to the shutdown, fucking flying was fucking miserable. People are fucking miserable.
Well, you see all those videos of your hands are on your armrests, and then there's a foot behind your elbow from the person behind
like
you,
a socked foot.
and you're like, what are you doing? Why is your foot
sat in front of
next
a person
to my elbow?
who thought that the touch screen would work harder if they tapped it harder.
And then
So
it
the
pissed
entire
person
time
off
it's-
in front of him.
Yeah, me. And I didn't say a fucking thing because I was like, there's no way that this doesn't end in a fight. There's
Like, what do
no
you-
way that this
yeah,
doesn't end.
right.
And I don't want to wind up on a video whoever fighting up. I didn't even know who it was.
Because the four aisles down,
a
the
grown
guy's like,
man, a
"Oh, yeah,
child,
here we go."
an old lady. I have no idea. But like, it's clearly like I'm the bad guy in that situation where you're like, they're hitting the touchscreen too hard. But it's just like that shit like that. People couldn't handle like putting their seat backs back. It's like, oh God.
Oh,
Big fan of humanity, not a huge fan of people.
I again, non-transition. You worked with Vernon Troyer, right?
I have no idea who that is.
Vernon Troyer, the little person who has died, rest in peace, who was in. You don't know who Vernon Troyer is?
Maybe
He's
look,
in the
I'll look
Austin
him up.
Power movies.
Oh, the little guy, the little Dr. Evil.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. I don't know. Did I work with him? I have no clue.
Well, we worked with him. We've worked with him, and I have an interesting story. One that we were working, and he had to go to the bathroom, and I was so uncomfortable because I didn't know what to do. Because he's
What do you mean? Like,
well,
offer to lift him up?
he's the height of your knee. So I don't know how all that works. And his manager was a little person.
Uh-huh.
And so I walked from, and you know how complicated it was to go in the old building from Studio B to the restroom. Like it was a complicated.
Oh, yeah.
walk.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't easy to get
Sure,
to
yeah.
wherever you needed to be. And so I walked in, and I mean, I obviously was extremely respectful of it, and I didn't ask any questions. I mean, I know that it's fine, but it was a very interesting, unique thing for me because I hadn't met anybody that little, except for my children. All worked out. I just waited outside the door. but that's a very interesting story to have that happen.
So ultimately, you just had to walk him to the bathroom.
Well, yeah, but I walked in and then I was like, what am I doing? And like, then I realized, what am I doing in here?
Yeah, he
He's
knows how
got
to go to the bathroom.
he's
He's
got it.
got it.
It's no issue. But it was so new to me that, and this is 15 years ago, but he's got
Like now you're an expert.
it. But you want to, it's like anybody else. You want to be helpful, and you don't know when they're going to ask for your help. But in that situation, he's an
Did you
adult.
ask him if he needed help?
No. He's an adult male, and
Yeah.
so this man he's
Yes.
got it.
He's
And
got it.
so,
He goes to the bathroom multiple times a day.
but I wanted to make myself
But you were
available.
uncomfortable. Yeah. You just were uncomfortable because you
I was
were
uncomfortable with just the thought that was
that you might need to go in and help him.
no. I just I didn't know how to
Make it known that you were there for help if he needed it.
I said I'll just be right outside the door, so when we walk back, because it's complicated. So I was outside the bathroom. He could do whatever, but it was so interesting because I don't think many people have met somebody that little.
Yeah.
He was very little,
Uh-huh.
and so I don't know. I felt because as you would with somebody, you feel protective and you want to make sure that they're taken care of. But he doesn't need that. But I didn't know. I didn't know. So I said, I'll just be outside and
I'll be honest. I thought the story was going in a much different way when you were like, I walked with him to the bathroom and I had to pick him up and put him on the potty.
No.
Or you're like, instead, you're just like, you waited outside for him. And
Yeah.
inside, you're like freaking out because you don't know what to do.
Well, I didn't know.
But yeah, I know. I'm saying
I just made it clear. I'm right outside the door when you guys need to walk back to the studio because we're interviewing him about
sure. Yeah.
Austin Powers or whatever it was.
Mhm.
And or no, it was maybe it was he was on a reality show, wasn't he? The
Maybe.
one where he was
It's like a surreal life or something like that. Is that
something like that? Whatever.
was that was a one of those VH1 like everybody's in the house and they're all reality stars or something like that, or
yeah,
but
anyway, so that was very interesting for me. But like I said, I have a friend that's 7'7".
Do you offer to help him to the bathroom too?
Kind of.
You like hold his hand and walk with him. You're like, okay, let me know if you need any help. If you bonk your head on anything and you fall over, let me know.
Well, I didn't say any of that. I didn't say or do any of that.
You're just sweating the whole time on the walk, like, oh God, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna say? How am I gonna act?
Just I wait to be asked for help if they need help. That's kind of all of life. And that's where Clapper comes in. And they're paying for this.
I'm not getting any money from Clapper, for the record.
They're not paying for it. I'm paying for it.
Yeah, no, I know.
Excuse me. Goodness. That made me. Yeah, but I try to come up with, well, not come up with, but remember all the very interesting stories from our days and all the celebrities and everything that we've dealt with and how interesting each one of them has been. Like I did something with Dustin Hoffman, and he said, "Oh, where are you from?" I said, "Fairfax, Virginia." He's like, "Fairfax? I love Fairfax." And so then he and I spent a half an hour talking about Fairfax.
I didn't do it, but Gretchen, I think, one of our coworkers, like his wife came out with like a beauty line or something like that,
Mhm.
and or some product line, and they went and did a shoot at Fred Siegel. Is this the shoot? Is this what you're talking about? He
Mm-mm.
so his wife is like doing what we used to call them trendy segments, trendy, whatever the fuck it was. And so
Well,
Gretchen told me the story. Huh?
I shot a lot of those.
Yeah. And so she, like the wife is like kind of giving the spiel about the product. And Dustin walks on camera pretending just to be a shopper. He's like, excuse me, miss, did you say whatever? And it was like he
You just
assumed the
sold the
character
entire
of a
thing.
shopper. Yeah, exactly. It was like, can you tell me more about this product? And I was like, I remember her telling me like, and all of a sudden this like Academy Award winning actor like
Right.
just hopped in on our work and tried to like help his wife sell. Like, of
Well,
course he
that's
would.
the
Like, I'm
thing
sure
is
he's
that
a
we would
very
have
nice
these,
guy, but
yeah, we would have
yeah,
these very intimate conversations with Academy Award winners and major celebrities. And because we were comfortable with them, they were comfortable with us. And so we would, have very intricate conversations.
I mean, aside from like when we're between like, I don't really remember many between like
I had a lot.
rolling and stop. I don't remember. Maybe I did, but I don't remember. And to be honest, I always sort of just like saw it as work. It was work. That was my job. It was just to
Yeah.
go and do this and have this conversation and then know as much as I needed to know to write, my report on it afterward. And then I was like, and then I mostly
This was a shit show.
forgot about it. Yeah.
They
This
did
was
so-
terrible. This went really poorly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. So I don't have, I mean, I'm
Yeah,
sure I
I
do it. I'm
have a
sure people
lot
would
of-
jog, but it was like 10 years of
Mhm.
multiple times a day. At some point, it all sort of like gets sandwiched together into a big mishmash in my memory. And I'm sure there are distinct ones would want somebody like jog my memory, but yeah, I don't have a lot of them at the I should have I did I like after I was no longer Addy, I was like, man, I should have been keeping a fucking journal.
Yeah. And again, that's why my dad wants me to write a book. But again, a lot of the stories I can't talk about.
Well, it's super interesting that you're talking about them on a podcast then.
No, but I'm not. Like that's not
I know I was being
me
facetious.
yeah, okay, good.
Okay. I was being sarcastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're like, I had this interesting conversation with this interesting person,
Well,
but I can't disclose the details of it.
he was putting blow in his cigarettes. And
Yeah.
smoking.
And then great. All right, great. Good. I'm glad you brought that up. That went nowhere.
Huh.
It was an excellent cul-de-sac of a story.
Yeah. We'll just call him John. I wrote this down. This is stupid. My buddy in high school, his name was Dave Love,
Mm-hmm.
and his mom's car, it said two loves on it,
Mm-hmm.
and we and I would drive around in it. It's like, we're two loves.
That was like a vanity plate.
Yeah, and it just said number two loves. Every time I got in, I was like, come on, man. It's fine for people that are that way, but Jesus Christ. Put on another plate.
That's illegal. Can't you change it out? One that says two hetero dudes who aren't touching each other right now. Can that fit on a license plate?
We really do enjoy each other's company, but
A license plate that says, hey, don't get the wrong idea here. I'm comfortable in my masculinity, but not that comfortable.
can you imagine you and I driving around a car with those two loves?
Yeah, I wouldn't give a shit.
Well, no, but you're in high school.
Honestly, in high school, I was like, whatever, man.
You're trying to figure out, all of everything.
I need a ride, bro. This car could say blowjobs are us on it. And I'd be like, all right, weird choice, but sure, let's go.
You got a glory hole dug into the door.
Yeah, whatever. It's all good, man.
That's our first glory hole joke.
Is it? Could
Oh,
it be? Could that possible? Might be.
like,
Um,
oh, what? Killed a rat today.
I went to an all boys high school, so it was already like you already had to have a pretty thick skin
Well, that's the thing.
before you're like,
I think that's why you and I get
man,
along so well.
wait, whatever. What the fuck are you gonna say?
Yeah,
Whatever,
exactly.
whatever.
I think that's why you and I are friends, is because it takes a lot.
Plus, in hindsight, it's like,
but even if
what are you guys holding hands? You're like, what are you, a fucking homophobe?
yeah, right.
You're the bad one, not me. Yeah, I'm fucking holding hands with my friend. Fuck you.
He's my buddy. This is what we do. How about you back off?
Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah.
How about you instigate your own life? Instigate? No. Investigate your own life choices.
Exactly. I can have you in a chokehold in 2 seconds.
Not that I couldn't, but
And then the other thing I wrote down was I don't know if we talked about this. Well, I killed another rat this week. That's becoming a theme, unfortunately. But when my cousin died, I got his ashes in a bullet. Did we ever talk about it?
you and I have talked about it, but I don't know if we've talked about it on the podcast. But you've definitely told me this, told me about this.
Yeah, he's a great guy, and I was very close friends with him. But I went to Chicago to carry his ashes. I was the pallbearer for his ashes in the ceremony, and the thing that I was given was a bullet with his ashes in it because he had shot someone and went to prison. Sweetheart of a guy.
Yes.
Except in that moment.
Except for that one fleeting moment.
Yeah. Oh, I had to pay for a cut in the last episode because I had that clicking sound.
Oh, yes.
So he was like, I had to. You're making me nuts. It was like 4 minutes. So
yeah.
Figuring out if it was clicking.
I told you, I was like, we're gonna have to take this out. You're like, no, we're leaving it in. It's hilarious. I was like, it's not funny.
It's not funny.
It's not funny. It's not funny.
Uh,
it's you like leaving.
I didn't know what it was. I couldn't figure it out.
No, I know.
I think it was on your end.
Well, I did say, do you hear it now?
No.
I asked if it was my air conditioner.
I'm not even wearing earphones.
I know. I also noticed last week when we were talking, I could hear myself on your microphone. So I don't know. Maybe Antoine can validate that for me.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is the other thing I was going to talk about was, so as I'm watching these back, and we've got 24 hours of this now.
Mm-hmm.
When I speak, I have like a pause
I'm aware
in my speech pattern.
Yes.
And I think because we had talked very early on about my having to go to speech therapy because I probably had a stutter or something, whatever I was taught, that there's, so there's a pause in my brain so I don't stutter.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very obvious that that's what's happening. Like I'll get through, like right there, I just stuttered. So
Yeah.
I'll begin it. I just started again. I'll begin a sentence, have to pause, and then continue the sentence. And sometimes just for a joke, which the pause is necessary, but sometimes it's just a pause.
I don't think I knew that it was for. I don't actually think I knew that.
Yeah.
That you went to speech therapy.
Mm.
I always thought that you were holding for a reaction.
Good.
To which most of the time I was like,
I
got no reaction.
Or you'd ask if I was having a stroke.
Let's go.
I'm not having.
I'm waiting for the second half of this thought.
I am very cognizant of the fact that I have that. I hate the words like and and so
sure, yeah.
I also tried to bifurcate that from a sentence.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Thus, every once in a while I pause.
Yeah. You
So
know,
don't always wait for a joke because
uh-huh.
sometimes there isn't one coming.
Is it cruel to say, oh, I've noticed?
Yeah. No, not at all.
No, yeah. Do you do you find that if you try to rush, you stutter?
No, if I try to rush, I lose words.
Gotcha.
So it doesn't come through the way that I want. Like
Mhm.
if I'm trying to articulate a sentence or something that I want to convey, I can't convey it if I rush because
Gotcha.
I'm
You
not.
drop words.
Yeah, and that's why you made fun of me about texts, because I'll text and then
Yeah.
I look back at the text and I'm like, well, this doesn't make any
This
sense.
is making fucking sense. Yeah. But you're texting.
Yeah. Like what is this? You don't have any commas. This whole thing's a disaster.
Yeah. Mostly when I'm like, when I get text from you, I'm like, I don't understand what this is. And so,
Once
but
you
you don't
start to be able to read me, and
you don't proofread a text. You don't read it back. And you're not like,
not to my friends.
Glance that over real quick, make sure I got everything.
But you're my friend, so I just send it, and I figure that even the mistakes that I've made, you kind of can read Peter.
No, not at all. Not at all.
You get an idea of what it is I'm trying to convey.
No. I mean, some of them are obvious, right? Some of them are very clear and very obvious, but the ones that you're referring
the
to
ones that
specifically
are
like
paragraphs. That's
are
what
like, is he having a fucking seizure? I don't understand what's going on.
So I'll even
This
go
is just
back.
it's like a word salad. I don't understand what's happening at all.
I'll go back and I'll read them. I'm like, this makes total sense.
No,
it's just chaos.
Yeah. It's like the car expeditiously mountain peas donut. And it's like, what?
Oh, you dick.
What the fuck?
That's exactly right. It's but
and then it's always like 9:30. And then I know that if I write back, huh? We've talked about this. I'm gonna get a phone call. It's gonna be like a 25-minute phone call. And I'm like, I don't know. This is me time. Like, I am not interested in chatting with my friends now.
Oh shit.
So that's like, it's like this. Okay, I'll address that some other time.
Do it on the internet with other people.
They're like, what the fuck was that about?
Yeah, but as I listen to these back, there's you can, there's these little pauses, and that's what's happening. It's me thinking.
To be honest, though, I
stutter.
Would not have thought about it. You got kind of like a, what is it? What's the thing?
A non-regional
Schrodinger's cat. I don't know. I don't like, now that I didn't notice it before. I mean, I noticed it a little bit, right? But now that I know what it is, every time you pause, I'm gonna be like, is his brain okay?
Yeah, it's working.
Is he all right?
It's just it just takes a second sometimes.
Every time you pause, I'm gonna be like, sound it out. You'll get there.
Yeah. Put on your big boy pants.
I don't know, if you hadn't brought it up, I would not have known what it was about at all. Now that's all I'm going to be thinking about.
Oh,
we got next. You can do it. I'm so proud of you.
So proud of you.
You just have to, or you just get your mouth, like I do. You just get your mouth going fast enough, and then see what comes out.
No. What's going to come out? It's going to get us canceled. We can't have that. I also wrote down, this is probably wrap it up, but because of our jobs, we would talk to every celebrity about every project that we're doing. And so as we'd discuss each project, they'd spoil it because we're interviewing them and they're not going to use it in the piece that we're going to shoot or whatever it is we're going to do, or if we're on set or whatever it may be. It's just a constant spoiler alert. And you're like, fuck, now now I know what's happening because they spoiled everything. And it was so interesting because then you'd see the movie and you're like, well, I know what happens. Like, shit.
It did make being a fan of some people and some projects harder.
Well,
it was like,
especially
and not
because we
for the
met
spoiler effect, but you're just
Mhm.
like, this person was kind of a pain in the ass. I cannot
Yes,
divorce myself of that when I
exactly.
watch this
Yes,
project now. When you
right,
go to a set, you have a bad experience and you're like, fuck, those people are fucking dicks.
right,
Fucking, I'm not watching this shit anymore. Fuck
right.
that. Yeah. And I don't even remember like a specific example, but yeah, I don't know. You're just like so much. The more the curtain was pulled back on stuff, the harder I found it to be a fan of something.
And then there were times that it was such a wonderful experience.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Yeah,
going to
that's true too.
watch everything this person does, but yeah, you find yourself in all these situations where you're just immersed in these projects that they're doing, and you don't know when you're going to come into the process during its production, and then you're like, oh, that guy's a dick. And you're like,
Fuck.
I want
Fuck
to
this.
be nice.
Yeah. No, I know.
I like him. But then
Yeah.
they could just be having a bad day and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So you're just trying to figure it out.
Of course. Of
Yeah.
course. I mean, the thing that I always sort of said was like, you know, I'm sure everybody has great thing to say about them. I'm sure they're nice. And I can't think of an example off the top of my head. I'm sure they're nice to
Well, that's like us.
their
I mean,
friends, to their inner circle. And then if you're not in it, you're
Yeah.
like, it's kind of like whatever. They're not really that interested in you.
Well, you're a dickhead, but
Mhm.
I like you because you're my friend.
I'm a dick. The closer you get to me, the bigger a dick I am. It's the people on the periphery that I'm always going to be very nice to.
Right. Me too. Same thing.
Yeah.
Like, hey, how are you, neighbor?
Yeah. I don't want to make anybody feel bad about
And then you
themselves. I've
get
just
in-
met them.
You get too
No, that's not
close.
my thing. I want to be nice.
And I'm
And
like,
then once you get closer
back
in,
off.
it's like, yeah, too close. Get the fuck away from me.
I didn't want any of this.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm busy.
Yeah. And so God, I wish I could, what was always the example was like Ugly Betty, Kristen, one of our old coworkers, going to a set and was there all day, and people are busy, but you're like, whatever,
Yeah.
you got a job to do too. You maybe got other shit going on that day. And so
Mhm.
your day gets fucked because nobody wants to agree to talk to you all day. And so you got to come back on another day to do it. You're there for like 12 hours.
Yeah.
And so you're like, fuck, what the fuck is going on here? And then you have a hard time watching that thing. You have a sort of a negative experience at a thing. And then you have a hard time going back and being like, this is a great show. I love everything about this. Like people used to say the same thing about Grey's Anatomy. In the early days, everybody was an absolute fucking dickhead on that show, but people loved it, except for people who had to go work at it. I mean, sure, cast and crew loved it, but like publicists and shit, they were like, fucking, I can't fucking watch this. This is miserable. These people are miserable. And then I think at some point they all,
doing it.
huh?
Oh, that was
Yeah.
that
And then they
it's
got rid of all
funny.
those people, I think.
About
And now it's apparently lovely.
Rihanna. We waited 8 hours, and she would walk by the room and say hi to us and, hey, good to see you guys. I'll be right back. We needed 10 minutes.
Yeah.
8 hours. They brought in a second crew to wait for her, but she was so sweet every time she walked by because she just had stuff to do. But she was, but she was sweet about it. And the same thing with Johnny Depp. Like Johnny Depp would come in 3 hours late, but shake everybody's hand and come over
Yeah.
to me like he recognized me from other things and projects we had done together. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm back on board.
Exactly. Same thing with The Rock. You're going to be late because he's going to be working out really hard for a very long time. But then when he walks in, he's shaking everybody's hand and he's like, he's like the mayor of your room all of a sudden.
He's doing clapping push-ups, and then you hear his entourage start coming down the hall, and you're like,
exactly. Totally. And you with somebody like Rihanna at a, if you're on a set of hers, a music video or what have you, like she's kind of running the show. She's got like, she's not the hired hand for the day. You go to she's in charge. Like this is a direct reflection as to how she is. So if she can't get herself in the mindset, if she's like in that flow of doing X, Y, Z, got to get this shit done.
There's
I want
also
to make sure it's done right.
There.
And then you're right. That's true. But it's ultimately, it all feeds up to her. Right. And that's a very specific example. Rihanna, like you watch a music video, no one's like, well, that art director sucked. You're like, this fucking music video sucks. Why did Rihanna do it? You have to like, it's her. Like ultimately it's her name, her face, her fucking reputation. So you kind of understand that situation. When it's somebody who, when do I not understand? I guess I can always make an argument.
I was on the stage at the forum with Michael Jackson. And so it was an empty forum and he was just practicing for his show. And so I went up on the stage with him and it was just he and I. And there's nobody in the audience. There's an engineer that's running the board, but he's just kind of going through his steps and things like that. And his dance routine. And he was so sweet to me. This is obviously just before he died, but that was one of, because we've been around a lot of people who have died, but that was a really interesting one where you're standing on stage alone in an empty stadium with somebody of that influence. And that's not, and I'm not saying that given all the controversy there, but it was interesting.
Regardless of the controversy, you'd be hard pressed to find a bigger star than Michael Jackson, even at the end, even towards the end. Yeah. Let's end it there. That was a good.
Well, if this is what we're going for, we nailed it. Well, I love you. That you love me.
I wasn't sure if you were pausing because there was more to it, or if you were in the middle of a thought, or I don't know. Well, I'll see you later. I love you, buddy. I'll talk to you later.
All right, bye.
Bye.